What? What? Hello everyone, welcome to the main channel. I thought I would spruce it up by adding me doing what happened at the end of that episode, and then having the intro. Whoa. Power of the Doctor, or shall I call it Jodie Whittaker's greatest episode on planet Earth. Why is it Jodie Whittaker's greatest episode on planet Earth? Well, it beats Rose by a mile off. Rose was an episode about Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks is one of the greatest bits, I think, that could come out of that era of American history, because Rosa Parks is amazing. Anyway, but the Power of the Doctor was incredible. Wow. Welcome to Spoiler Zone. Spoiler Zone! I need to make some items and jingles and whatever. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about spoilers and ideas I've got to create my own fan-related things around this episode. So, what do I think of Power of the Doctor? Well, a few minutes ago, I've just watched the final episode. I watched it. The episode ended. The whatever trailer thing, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, was at the end. And then I came up here to review this. So obviously, I'll be reviewing this and I'll be editing it. And anyway, so Power of the Doctor. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Well, the list of characters that are in it that we already knew about from the get-go was Dan Graham, which wasn't officially confirmed, but everyone knew that, right? Yaz, the Doctor, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, Tegan, and Ace/Dorothy. But what we didn't know was anything else, right? The Master was in it, but it was Rasputin. But I really like how they did the Rasputin leader. You know that song, right? I liked how they did the whole dancing thing, because they could then complicate that dance. They could have, I don't know, they should have released that clip ahead of time so that Strictly could bring that dance together to put it at the end of their episode to link through. I don't know. But what can I say? Well, it was an emotional ending, right? So we've got tears from Yaz and tears from the Doctor. So Mandip and Jodie must have really missed that, and I don't know whether we'll see them on the screen ever again, which I really hope we do. Right? Ace seemed like a character that could now return. So can Tegan. So, let's go way back to the beginning of the episode. It was a 90-minute episode. The press had only seen 18 minutes of it. How did the episode all begin? Where does this all come from? The episode really began like your, how do I put it? Your standard episode. So we have the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan inside the spacesuits that Matt, David, and Peter have all worn. Not Christopher and none of the classics, right? So we have that. So with this train that we saw at the beginning of the trailer. This big train in space. We have the Cyber Lords that are now renamed to Cyber Masters, which sort of is a better name, calling them a Cyber Master rather than the name Cyber Lord. A Cyber Lord doesn't really work. Now, only problem with this whole episode was the lack of, well, they sort of didn't have to wrap up Timeless Child now that what we saw at the end wouldn't have to. And I will tell you about my viewing experience, because at the very end of the episode, before she regenerated, I did like, right, final guesses to my family. Obviously, I guessed, and I'll tell you what that was towards the end. So, it all happens like normal, and Dan's helmet gets cracking in. Now, I know John Bishop filmed his stuff quite early on, because he had to go on a nationwide tour, because John Bishop is a comedian. Hopefully one day I can interview him for comedy and for Doctor Who. Who knows? Who news. Anyway, so with that happening, you had that, and the crack happened, which made him want to leave, which meant that John could go on tour, and then when he was needed back again, he could come back. But it wasn't really made clear why he just left, and that happened so quickly, and it sort of could have been drawn out a little bit longer. So I was a little bit gutted at that. But that's the only bit that really upset me a little bit. They could have just done more, because Dan was a fantastic companion. And then you sort of feel that these cyber lords, these cyber masters are now taking over. We have the box, which is the little like wiry thing that holds this planet that's supposed to kill the Doctor, because the Master pretend to be Rasputin, and he does that dancing, Rasputin, yeah, which the Daleks and Cybermen both look at each other and go, they just don't say anything, but if they were to speak, they would have said, "Excuse me, do we know what he's doing?" We're sort of just waiting for his call, really, but we're both like, he's like in the middle, dancing, whilst the Doctor's staring at the TARDIS thinking, can I just ask what's going on? No, okay. No help. That's I'm trying to make this more funny, unless rambling really fast. And you can go really fast. I don't want that. I want to be able to pronounce my words and get my thoughts out there. Now, also as fans had been rumouring speculation on the whole degeneration, but the word degeneration I've never heard used in the show until now, with degeneration now being the word we use for going backwards or transferring. I don't know. So the Master gets in these boxes that remind me of that little chamber that Wilf was trapped in at, I think it was World and End of Time. The one where David was covered in blood and going, "Oh, I'll save you. Oh no, don't," or whatever, you know. I mean, I'm not very good at impressions, so we might as well just park the impressions on a pedestal, like pattern somewhere. Anyway, so you have those chambers, and you then see the Master swap bodies, which I had heard someone saying that when Kate met Sacha Dhawan's Master, her reaction symbolised which incarnation of the Master Sacha Dhawan is. But I didn't really see a reaction much, so we don't know whether or not Missy comes after her before still. There's a whole still, who comes before? Who comes after? Find out in Who is the Master? It's like a wannabe game show. I don't know. Anyway, so with having the episode... So, sorry about that cut there. I realised that the camera was not in centre, so I had to flip it to centre. Anyway, so with having this episode... So, next. What happened next? I'm trying to retell this tale so I can get my thoughts out there. Then we had... When the Master regenerated into the Doctor, which I looked at the clock and thought, that's too soon. So regeneration and all that happens. But my theory is, right, is the power of the Doctor was swan song for Jodie Whittaker, wrap up for Chris Chibnall, and celebrating 100 years of the BBC all in one go. So how would you do two things? How would you do three things at once? Well, end Jodie and Chris all at the same time, with Chris's fantastic, incredible writing, and then Jodie's fantastic, incredible acting all at once. You can easily do that, right? But to celebrate the 100 years, we all thought that it was just going to be, oh, the Doctor's going to wear some old costume, then blah blah blah, and yay, whoop-de-doo, woo, yay, old costumes, woo! And it wasn't going to be that interesting, but no, that was just trying to, like, blink and you miss it, and it was trying to, like, going, oh, that's happened, and then they reference it later on. Anyway, so this costume then appears on the Doctor. We don't see any of the Master doing, let's find the outfit, come on, what outfit, oh, I remember that one, Ooh, we haven't got any of that. We've got Yaz not really trusting the Master, which is perfect. Vinda was in it, but what did Vinda really do? And we'll get on to Vinda in a minute, because Vinda was just there. The future Doctor, she really did something. Her spin-off and Big Finish is gonna be incredible. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So we have the long scarf from the Fourth Doctor. We have the question mark jumper from Sylvester McCoy. We have the lettuce from Peter Davidson, and we have Jodie's jacket. Saoirse Dhuang really suited it more than when he had just wearing the costume that Jodie was wearing. Because obviously it was Jodie's and there's like a mixture of bits and bats, because it's like... Anyway, that's off track. So with this, we had that going on, and we thought, oh no, Jodie's not going to be in the rest of the episode. But she's been touching Ace, Tegan, and and Yaz with what I thought was Time Lord energy, like, oh yeah, she's about to regenerate, but with actually chips hidden inside, so that when they need her the most, she would come out and have a chat. But Tegan and Ace have Tegan and Ace, and what happened? Ace turned into Peter Davidson. Ace turned into Sylvester McCoy, sorry, and Tegan's turned into Peter Davidson. Obviously, they mentioned the fact that Peter Davidson looks older than he did when he was in Doctor Who as the Doctor, so they got that bit cleared up, which is really interesting, because we've never had that before in Doctor Who. We've never had where we have had a old Doctor come back, but they look nothing like they used to because they're older now. We've never had any of that before, and they've never like mentioned that, and it worked really, 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 really well. So I was already in shock. I was like I was like really giddy at this point, really excited about and I thought that bit was amazing, but that wasn't the best bit of the whole episode. We're getting to that. We're getting to the best bit of the whole episode, right? And what you're about to say is, oh Tom, the very end of the episode was the best bit of the episode. No, 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 no. Well, that was really good as well, but it was a bit before that I liked, but we'll get on to that. Patience! I want to make it as least spoiler free as possible, so patience! Anyway, so it all happens, and the episode goes on, and we have the Daleks, the Cybermen, a really nice Dalek that gets killed, the Doctor being trapped in it, and blah blah blah, and yada yada. So the episode goes on, and you sort of see Dan, and you see psychic paper, so it's another callback to Doctor Who Past. Graham doesn't really know how to use the psychic paper, but Ace, because I think the psychic paper is a new Who concept. So Ace knowing how to use it is a little bit odd, and I liked how they mentioned Ace's past with the Doctor, because the Doctor Who ended in the 80s with them walking off into the sun for a new adventure when the show got cancelled. And then Ace was never mentioned or appeared in it ever again. So we've got that. We've got Unit that's still alive, even though we said in Spyfall Part 1 that Unit was dead along with Torchwood, so who really knows? So what does this mean for the content of the next series? Well, this could mean that Unit could come back easily. Russell very good at writing for Unit, so Russell could write for Unit again. So we've now seen that we've had 2 old Doctors return. What was going to be even better? Well, then it cuts to this weird tropical, like, desert type place, and that's where we see Jodie Whittaker again, and we're going, woo! Yes! We've still got more of her. She hasn't regenerated just yet. Woo! Right. So then we have her back. And this is one of the best moments where the first Doctor, David Bradley, right? David Bradley's back, holding, doing this, they're going, hello, where are you? We're here, and whatever, I'm not going to try and recreate his voice. So he's stood there, sat there really, he's on like a chair, and he's sat there, and then his face changes. So, which Doctor's returned, you might ask? heavily spoiler raised. We've got David Bradley as the first Doctor, Colin Baker as the 6th, Sylvester McCoy as the 7th, Paul McGann as the 8th, and Peter Davidson as the 5th. Paul McGann was the only one not wearing a robe type thing. And what I like about Paul McGann's bit is because Paul McGann has only, on TV, only had, what's the stories in Balamory? Completely wrong reference. It was the TV movie and The Night of whatever, I think. The one where he drinks a potion to turn into the War Doctor, right? But he's not really been in it much since, and he's had loads of Big Finish. Like 50% of Big Finish is Paul McGann, sorry, who I kept for years getting mixed up with Paul McCartney. How can you get Paul McCartney, one of the greatest bands of all time, and Paul McGann, part of one of the world's greatest sci-fi shows of all time, mixed up? They're not even the same. Anyway, so Paul McGann is in it a lot more than all the other Doctors, which I quite like, because they're utilising him being in it more, and they're utilising him as an actor, because Paul McGann's a fantastic actor. Just watch Annika and you'll find out, which is on Alibi, for anyone that wants to watch Annika. Anyway, so we're going to speed through this a little bit more now, because we're in 17 minutes. I haven't done any of the cutting yet, so I don't know. But anyway, so we go back to the episode, and it trolls on, and we've seen the Doctors, and we've had this cool effect where the Doctors appeared in multiple times. I do quite like that, and it works really well, and it's incredible. So the episode goes on with, and Dorothy, has like battered some Daleks, and gone boom, boom, with the baseball bat and the jacket's back. Met with Graham, and they've all done this thing, right? The Doctor comes back to us. She comes back. The Doctor's back! Yay! Not as a hologram anymore. But the way they did that, the way they transferred them back was they had Jo Martin as the fugitive Doctor, right? Don't even need to explain that because it's a hologram now. So holograms can change. I'm like, hang on. Are you going to explain Timeless Child now? Because I don't think now's the right moment. No, don't explain Timeless Child now. Save it. Save it. You could do that in your Big Finish box set that we're going to make canon. Russell T Davies. We're making that canon. Just so it saves time in the show. So you don't have to worry. Someone else can deal with that bit. So, she appears. I think, and I thought that Jo Martin has been incredible. We've said goodbye to Jo Martin in the TV universe for now, because we've got the 6 years that we have to deal with now. I say deal with, it's more like fix. We have to work on what's going on there. If you know, when we get to the end and talk about the ending of the episode, then we'll explain. So, it all happens. She's there and she's confused everyone. And I quite like how the Daleks and Simon just automatically assume that's the Doctor without going, you are not the Doctor. Like, so it just like goes, Timeless Child's happened. Yeah. It's canon now. She's an early incarnate. She's Brie Hartnell. Yeah. See, I'm trying to make this more funny. I'm trying to go from a informational, critical, and comedy point of view in this review. So far, so good. And I'll tell you about this idea I've had for a fan project. And I will announce it because I do love this idea, and hopefully people will like the idea too. So stay tuned to the end to hear my wonderful idea. So, what did I think of the whole episode as a whole? It is incredible. Right, so far, what I've said is that the best scenes so far have been anything that Ace and Tegan have done, right? And anything where we've had the Master and the Doctor face against each other. Jo Martin is another incredible addition to this. So, the Doctor's back as come out the cage. I quite liked how she referenced the costume she was wearing, David Tennant's tie. I forgot to mention that bit. I like how she mentioned the outfit, and I really think that outfit really worked. So as a final swan song to her era, that is a beautiful outfit to go out on, and that's an outfit I really think people should try and recreate now. spent weeks now trying to do that. So, what did I think of Jodie's era as a whole? I think Jodie's era has been incredible. Rosa is the second best episode after Power of the Doctor. What do I want to say that is the best moment in this episode? Well, would I interest you in a support group like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, but for time travellers that have travelled with the Doctor? Would I interest you in Graham, Dan, Yaz, Mel, Tegan, Ian, Joe? I'm trying to remember the round table now. An Ace? Would I interest you in weekly meetings? Would I interest you in a spin-off of that as a YouTube thing? Well, obviously the YouTube thing and the spin-off thing is a pipe dream, but that is the greatest moment ever. So the Doctor's about to regenerate and you thinking, oh, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Shooty? Is it going to be David? Is it going to be fan of petition? But I'm like, shh, Jodie, regenerate in a minute. I want to see this unfold, thanks. And that is the greatest thing ever. So, what are we going to call this support group? The Doctor's Companion Anonymous. TDCA. And I want to announce something today. Not announce, but generate an idea. What would you expect? What would I want? I want to make either a series, like fan film, like using like green screen or working out some way of doing it in person, or an audio drama where we get Doctor Who original companions together and we do a Doctor Who Anonymous type thing where it's companions. And because my series, Doctor Who Earthbound, doesn't have a companion, I will be in it as an original companion to the series. Whose Doctor will it be connected to? Well, that's what the series will unfold. Is it a good idea? Yes. After this episode, yes it is. So, I am going to put out that message whilst I'm releasing, whilst I go along with release. Once I've shared this, I will then share my idea. But I'll do it on the Facebook group first. So, there you have it. Who did the Doctor regenerate into? Well, I think that scene with the mole round the table is the greatest bit ever. I want to see a spin-off of that. Less in Big Finish because it's more impressive if you get it on telly. Like a YouTube exclusive. More like. I'm gonna flash and light. Oh, that's just back the camera. I don't think that really means anything. I don't know. Because I've got my computer off so it's reflecting. Anyway, so, who did the Doctor regenerate to? Is it Ncuti Gatwa? Is it David Tennant? Who? So she's outside this beautiful sunset. I think it is. It looked a little bit too CGI for my opinion. A little bit too CGI. Could have been a little bit more real. She regenerates into David Tennant! Woohoo! My favourite Doctor's back. My second favourite Doctor is Jon Pertwee. David Tennant. And it's weird because the Doctor's never really regenerated into a full outfit. I would have thought we would have seen David for a few more minutes in Jodie's costume, but no. We saw it. It's like, oh, what? I remember those teeth. And then, and it's, oh. And then it cuts. And then it ends. And then it shows a trailer for the 6th year, which will return in 2023. The trailer showed 3 things. London, the Doctor being confused, Catherine Tate back as John Normal, and our first look at Ncuti Gatwa, which looks like Ncuti's got a moustache of some type of thing. So I don't know how that works. And he's wearing some sort of like dinner jacket like a white dinner jacket with like a half bow tie, not really made type thing. And I thought, oh, whoa! And I had to run and make this review because we've got David back. We've got a glimpse of what Ncuti might act like. It was like a brief second. But what's really intriguing is that they never mentioned the ginger joke. Oh no, I'm not ginger. Like I thought they would have referenced that as a comical, but no. So, more Doctor Who will return in 2023. Before then, we have I don't even, you can't even see my collection, but we have Big Finish all the time. With comics, with magazines. We have YouTube. So now that Jodie Whittaker's over, I'll have more videos talking about why was Jodie's final words the best. I want to say that for its own video about Jodie's final words, and I react to like Jodie's final words scene, like that small segment, so I can like talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the possibility of how David Tennant's managed to come back in the show and all that, and predictions for the 60th. But thank you guys for watching. Remember, Power of the Doctor was amazing. David's back. Ncuti Gatwa will be the next Doctor after David, because David actually said, I remember this body, so it must be the 10th Doctor again. Thank you guys for watching. Time out. Bye! I enjoyed this episode. Did you enjoy my review? Leave it down below and tell me how I could improve my reviews. And if you want to be involved in my round table, like a support group idea, do let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Time out. Bye!
I want to know what happens next.